Well, willkommen, Huanan, and welcome to Full Throttle Racing's Division 2, Race 2 of Season 7. This is the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, brought to you by FTR. My name is Webbo. I'm here to take you through today's race, as ever. I'm not quite sure what we're staring at here. There's some giant green bar. I'm assuming that it's a deliberate piece of trackside furniture. It's new on me around this track. We'll hope so, certainly, but I'll get you on track shortly. We've got the first couple of drivers away onto our track and ready to go. It's not Pampern, it must be Cowboy out in the Haas first, but it looks like he's just been overtaken by a Ferrari, I believe. Is that Chicken Wing? It is not. It is Ron, I believe. No. Scratch that. The red is very similar. It's actually Citronic. Well, we're going to take you through the standings while we build up to the first laps here in Q1. We find in the Drivers' Championship that the Mercedes driver Panda is on top with 30 points after, of course, winning last week out with Hamrick, Burn It Down, Avalak, Salzmeister, Ron, Burtz, AP Mark, Top Gun and Stoffel, your current top 10. But given that we have combined across division championship standings for the teams, you won't know, it won't be quite so obvious for those faithful followers among you who are here for just Division 2. But Alfa Romeo lead the standings on 56 points to Williams 51, Aston Martin on 48, then come Alpine, Alpha Tauri, Mercedes, McLaren, Red Bull, Haas, and in a massive turn up for the books, Ferrari have only scored 2 points so far, given that they were last season's champions. Citronic is just rounding the final braking zone, but not the final corner of the Azerbaijan circuit here in Baku, and we'll ride on board with him very shortly. Hi to Jet, hi to everybody else joining us. If you'd like a shout out, do of course say hello. Tell us especially who are you here to support. I already know that Jet is here for the Alpha Tauri team. So let's join Citronic then on board this, frankly, very, very nice looking Alfa Romeo paint job. A little bit slow perhaps on the way into turn 1, but this is a banker lap and the track is as green as it can be. So getting through the first couple of corners without rubbing the walls, particularly essential here. And obviously you want to be building your speed not just through each qualifying session, but through the qualifying period overall. Of course, here in FTR we do 3 sessions of qualifying, a full qualifying session followed by a 50% race. So the drivers have got plenty of track time on the board. Once again, Citronic just a little bit loose on the car, just treading carefully around the circuit, making sure to not make any mistakes. Big apex cut there, of course, through turn 7. We've become well used to seeing that kind of line through the corner, but we could have perhaps taken a bit more entry curve into turn 8 and 9. Now it's a very narrow section of the track, very easy to get the car unsettled, especially over these curves with the stiff characteristic of these cars. Bounces over the curve, you're not going to be able to do that very often through the race. And then, so the final braking zone for the track, we go into turn 16, and then you'll see 17 now, then the left, right, flat out, unless we're in reduced grip situations of 18 and 19. Turn 20 is this one just before the pit lane entry and the DRS zone, before we then go to finish out the lap. But we'll see Citronic, the first lap on the board, should see him, of course, top of the pile, temporarily perhaps. We've got Pampern on, but Burn It Down has beaten Citronic already. Let's join Pampern to see what the Haas car is featuring and how it's handling so far today. Make sure at some point today, it'd be great if you could leave us a like on the video. Hopefully you've all subscribed to the channel, but do so because we have Division 2 on a Wednesday and Division 1, or the Premier Division, on a Thursday. Same time, I believe, but I will be corrected if I'm wrong. I'm sure. We've got some Division 1 guys in the chat. They're here not just to support their teammates in Division 2, but also to scope out some strategies perhaps. Yellow flag waving for Pampern, as we've got Shane and Jacques with times on the board in between Burn It Down and Citronic. quite a big gap at the moment, but we saw plenty of room for improvement on Azerbaijan's lap. Hi to Arno, who is here to cheer on the Red Bulls. Great to have you with us. If you see something I'm not talking about on track, help me out and mention it. There goes Pampern in the middle of the order, P4. We've got Chums, who I have not had the pleasure of commentating over before so far. He's obviously put in a charge lap on the track at the moment. And we've got Sir Hamrick in the Alpha Tauri. So we know we've got some Alpha Tauri supporters, so we'll ride with Sir Hamrick after a very strong evening of racing this time last week. But he won't thank the Aston Martin driver in front of him for doing that on track. I do believe Sir Hamrick is actually, or was on a lap, so that was problematic for Sir Hamrick, to say the least. Burn it down still with the fastest time of 41.1 to Shane's 42.6, and here is Hamrick now just letting the traffic move ahead, being very sporting where he didn't receive similar treatment, which is great to see. You never know quite who you're taking out your anger on if you do choose to play silly games. So good to see from Hamrick. Here is Chicken Wing in the Ferrari, slow on the way to return 2 there. Obviously got some understeer. It's all about survival, being in the top 15 in this session, of course. I'll let you know what the drivers are saying if I hear or read anything in the driver chat. And Chicken Wing just feeling himself out on the track, really. I don't think he's particularly pushing. Francois is supporting Pampern, which is good. Hi to Francois. And Panda confirms for me, which is great, as does Botta, to just confirm for me that it is a dry, full evening of racing, which will come as a huge relief to many of the drivers who wouldn't want to be driving Azerbaijan in the wet. Oh, a lift through turn 19 for Chicken Wing. Obviously not feeling like the car is underneath him at all, but just registering a time on the board. Up we go then. The problem is there's not many cars actually on track at the moment, so the track isn't getting any grippier. It's P7 for Chicken Wing, a 45.4. Again, some distance away from the top time so far out there. Martin's usually pretty rapid and usually pretty quick, pretty early in the session, so we'll ride with Martin, though he won't be happy to have that traffic in front, who have thankfully gotten out of his way. I really like the look of the McLaren this year as well. Oh wow, that was Ricciardo at Monaco, or Webber at Monaco level of tightness to the barrier there. I don't know whether that was skill or luck. Let's be generous and say it was skill, but wow, that was tight on the inside there of turn 3 for the inside wheel. You definitely can't be playing games with the apexes around most of this circuit. Here we go through the Leclerc Castle section. You can feel how long it takes to get the cars on the throttle out of slow corners this year. This game year, I should say, this iteration of the game, but actually you can really lean on the car under the aero while going around the fast corners, of which, of course, sadly there aren't very many here in Azerbaijan. Hi to Mango. How am I today? Thank you very much for asking. Not feeling too great. I think maybe the unusual weather this week for the UK has taken its toll a little bit, but it's thankfully a little bit cooler today, so grateful for that. There we go, Martin on top and making a McLaren 1-2, a 40.4 to the 41.1 for both McLarens. That should be safe, certainly for Martin. and Stoffel is just finishing out a lap. I'm keen to have a look at our championship leader, although it's early doors in the championship. Keen to get a look at them. That's Panda, of course, as Stoffel might be trying to engineer a tow here out of the car in front. You can hear the engine note rising as the DRS is enabled, and heading over the line then for a P3 41.5 for Stoffel. So a nice impressive time out there. Let's ride with Panda and see how his lap is going. He's quite early in the lap at the moment actually, and Avalak is just a corner or two ahead of him on the circuit. This is, I think, the only unchanged teammate pairing for this season versus season 6 is the Red Bull team of Avalak and Botta. I think they had the car auction, which allowed them to make sure that they were able to secure their first choice seat. And Hamrick has just mentioned he'd appreciate it if people were a little bit more respectful of hot laps coming up from behind them. Again, very tight on the inside wheel there from Panda. Hamrick doing things exactly the right way. Just a polite message in the driver chat just to indicate he wasn't personal about anybody either. Again, very sporting from Hamrick. Late on the throttle there, coming out of turn 15 for Panda. And there's that characteristic short shift coming out of 16 as well. Hi to Shellin, McLaren. How are your guys' Premier Division seasons going after the first race and your preparations for the next one? I'm interested to know the old Division 2 alumni I commentated over previous season. I'd love to know how you're getting on. Panda crosses the line then in P2. And it's a 41.0. Actually manages to split the McLarens, and Panda means business this season, absolutely. Avalak got a P6, 41.8, just 700th shy of Solsmeister's time. We'll ride with his teammate Botta then. Reacting to the car at the apex, really. Botta just throwing the car in. Maybe that's more indicative of the lack of grip at this early part of qualifying here. Just catching the drivers out slightly. And away we go. So let me have your predictions for the cut-off point here for the top 15. What time do you think a driver needs to make it through safely? Botta is a 43.4. Is a 43.4 safe? For this session. It's the longest session we have, but there we go. We'll see. I'm trying to get an update on the session time actually. J-Boy hasn't appeared on screen yet either. 4.5 minutes to go before the checkered flag. Hi to Wesley. So cheering on Aston Martin. Yeah, we're doing pretty well in the Constructors' Championship after week 1. Obviously, I'll be asking for you to predict the pole time at the start of Q3, sorry. This is Q1. But just 4 minutes to go now. J-Boy. I think possibly suffering a little bit of lag. Audio seems okay, but the car seems a little bit rough. Maybe he's a controller user. Not entirely sure. Interesting to get down all the way down to second gear actually through turn 15. That's why we're seeing drivers really struggle through their third gear release. Obviously his throttle modulation is pretty strong for J-Boy here, unless he's got traction control on as well, but not messing around too much with short shifting. Burn It Down has retired from the session, so has Solsmeister. They're both feeling pretty confident. So we'll see J-Boy then. So Hamrick needs to get a move on, and he's currently P17. That puts J-Boy up to P7. So let's drop down and have a look at Sir Hamrick. He is going a lot quicker this time out. See if he manages to secure a safe position through Q1. So crosses the line now into P6 of 41.8. That looks pretty good. It's also a popular time of 41.8 tonight. Let's go down to somebody looking like Chicken Wing, for example. finishing off his lap. Again, a lift through the final corner there, really, the turn 19 of 20. But still not feeling like the car is ready unless he's really trimmed out the downforce. Another factor here. Chicken wing does not improve. Still a 44.8. It's looking like 44.4 at the moment is P15 time. I don't know if he's pushing on this lap. Let's have a quick check if he's spending. I don't think he is. No, well, he's spent nearly all of his ERS, which isn't going to help him down this little straight here. Azerbaijan in P15, rounding out the final couple of corners here. Little rub on the wall there. Just entered turn 19, that little bit narrow. Really, really in rhythm through turns 18 and 19 to get them just perfect. If you're dealing with low downforce, improves by 0.4 of a second, but doesn't improve his grid position. Still a 44.0 for Esotronic and right on the bubble. Amazon Web Services would be saying he's at risk. I know there are some commentators who consider that to be slightly weird wording for a sport that deals in real risk. Here comes Chicken Wing then. I don't think this one is going to be where it's at, but I'm trying to give some attention to the guys who are right on the bubble here. Ron and AP Marg will not qualify. They must have had issues through qualifying, through Q1, and destroyed the car. Chicken Wing then trying to make an improvement, but it clearly isn't an improvement this time out. So 46 seconds to go. Could well be that this is the Chicken Wing show here. Esotronic won't improve this lap out. I think it's only going to be Chicken Wing who can rescue himself from the clutches of Q1 elimination. Oh, well, we'll spend even more time with Chicken Wing then on this very plain looking Ferrari from this view. Very few visible sponsors. No exposed carbon fibre for the Ferrari team. Chicken Wing, I think, is not able to maximise this one either. So I think he will likely be out of this session. And it's a double whammy really for the guys that are eliminated in Q1. They not only do they have less practice time, but they've got this long pause where they can't even go and practice somewhere in another lobby or a time trial room or something and keep their skills warm. They have to stay in the lobby. And there's Chicken Wing just putting on a show, I think. So he'll be on into the pits, the last car on track, and hopefully we'll get a retirement from him, and we'll be straight into Q2 shortly. Perna says, who wants KFC? I don't think it'll be Chicken Wing. So, in we go then, to the pits. Strange view once again. But it's Martin who had the fastest time. A 40.4 is the reference point. P10 was a 42.7 in Q1. Will a 42.7 be enough? I would suggest not. I think you're going to need to be much closer to the late 41s to do it once we've got track evolution, and Chicken Wing could really do us a favour. There we go. So there is your confirmation that the fastest time was with Martin, with Panda, and then Burn It Down, Stoffel, Saltzmeister, so Hamrick, Avalak, J-Boy, Top Gun and Jack qualified in the top 10. Pampern, Chums, Botta, Esitronic will have to do a bit better in the next session. We unusually lost the 15th place driver. Shane is out, as is Chicken Wing, Cowboy, Ron, and AP Marg. So Esitronic very, very close to elimination, but it was Shane, I think, either with a penalty or a retirement there, because he had a quicker time. He's been relegated. And hi to Simps, who just joins us on the chat. Simps, who are you supporting tonight? What are your guys' early impressions of the game? We're hoping for a better run from the servers tonight than last week, but let me know what your initial feelings are. I've barely got any time on the game myself, so can't really talk much about it. And Simps is here for Martin, and Bert's is I think watching along in between sessions maybe, and he's cheering on Williams, of course. Is Bert's. Well, Mango is here for Martin as well. Wow, okay, interesting. So waiting to see which of our drivers will be first out there in the top 5. Looks like there's a McLaren and a Haas moving their way out of the pit lane. It's Pampern, and is it? I can't quite see which driver it is of the McLaren pair. Very quick this year. I think McLaren and Mercedes are going to be very, very strong in Division 2 so far. Simps, of course, you're supporting Sir Hamrick. With the server we have in common with Sir Hamrick and yourself, I'm sure. No real change. I'm slightly disappointed, honestly, from a broadcaster's point of view. There's very little by way of changes with some of the problematic trackside cameras. We get there's no extra option. I was begging them to add a permanent helicopter camera. It's just kind of very much more of the same. There are some really appalling camera angles in this game. So Mango says pole will be a 40-0 with Panda taking it. Good claim. What I want to know is P10 time for this one. What are we aiming for to get ourselves through Q2 and into Q3? That's the all-important one. What do you reckon, Mango? Everybody else? We will ride then with Pampern. And if you prefer to see telemetry on the screen, let me know. We can see quite a bit of the telemetry just from the dash, from the steering wheel view. But if you want to see telemetry as well, don't show it in races for obvious reasons. But Bert says a 41. Which part of a 41? But any like a late 41, like I was saying, you think? Manga says a 40.8, so banking on big improvement from the drivers or track or combination of the two of them from Q3, Q1. Burn getting the throttle down early up the hill through the castle section, over the flat curbs nicely, and a small error there just invalidating on the way through. So let's find out which McLaren driver that was. It was Burn It Down first on track, and looks like Pampern got out of the way kindly. With Burn It Down then coming up to finish his lap out. First banker lap in Q2. Might get 3 laps in if you're quick about it. And it's a 41.3. Almost certainly safe from elimination for sure from Burn It Down. And his teammate Martin is finishing off his lap at the moment. Got a 1:18 in his sector 2 time. Stoffel, the fastest time so far, 41.2 out of the first laps. Esotronics got a 44.5. He will be reasonably pleased to be through to Q2 after the way the session ended for him in Q1. 43.1 for Martin. That's a relatively slow lap for the McLaren driver. Avalak beats him on a 42.1. Pampern is obviously running again. That might put a spanner in the works for his plan if he had that to run 3 times. But Panda gets a 40.6 and the fastest time so far. And very nicely done indeed. It is too for our current championship leader, albeit after only 1 week. So Sir Hamrick, with some fans watching on the live chat. Sir Hamrick sprints for the line, strangely hugging right on the track there and gets a 48.4, but it looks like he's on a warm-up lap, and I think he might be just doing 2 double-stacked times here. We'll stay with him because most everybody else is either on an out lap or cool down. Such a busy track apart from those 2 really extended straights. The middle sector is frantic. Little overcorrection coming, oversteer moment and correction coming out of turn 6. I'm missing the cut-off apex that most drivers take through 7. Actually making use of second gear with throttle application, so feeling brave with the current traction model. Some wheel spin in 4th gear as well for Hamrick, so clearly not on the traction control, but a purple middle sector for Sir Hamrick for himself here. Buntjes says hi, and I think Lecker means what? Good luck. But hi to Buntjes. Who are you supporting tonight? Sim says a 41.8 should be the cut-off. I think that was probably, yes, more like what Mango was meaning. So Hamrick right in the middle of the set time so far, 41.7. I think that's right on the bubble. I think we're going to need to go again, so Hamrick, and try and do a little bit better. Here is the Alpine of Jacques, the Alpine that looks almost white in the sunshine and almost navy blue in the shadow. So it's a really interesting blue colour. I guess it's just because it's slightly metallic, isn't it? Wait to see how the braking looks down into turn 15.